Hey IGNers, it's Greg Miller from the IGN PlayStation team, here to talk to you about
Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, the video game.
Do not buy these games. Based on the new Jessica Alba movie, these games are from 2K and are on just about every major system you could think of. Today I'm going to run you through the console pros and cons, and forget about the DS because that's Craig's turf. So I'll start you from worst to least worst. PlayStation 2 I gave a 4.7, which is poor. The good stuff that it had going as far as this Fantastic Four vibe is that you're always on fire as Johnny Storm. This is something the next generation versions didn't nail. And when you're running around punching stuff, acting like the Thing, it's cool, and you're stretchy as Mr. Fantastic, and you can turn invisible and use telekinesis as Sue, and that's cool to see on screen. However, it's not like it's always at your disposal. You have to use cosmic energy if you're going to use any of your special moves, and that's displayed by a little blue bar around your HUD. The problem is that there's wave after wave of enemies, which means you have to run out there, punch them, fight them, and then keep going to the next wave of enemies to get to the next elevator, to take you to the next wave of enemies, to take you to the next elevator, to take you to the next wave of enemies, to fight the boss for the first time, to then fight more wave of enemies, to fight the boss a second time, fight more enemies, and finally fight the boss the third time, beat him, and finish off that level. If that sounds repetitious, it's because it is. The levels are incredibly long. We're looking at 25 minutes apiece, and you can't save mid-level. Aside from that, the bosses and the boss battles are incredibly dumb. There's no method to the madness. Just run in, punch the bosses, and beat them to death. It's as simple as that. The storyline doesn't make any sense in connection with the movie. On the Wii and PS2 versions, they completely rewrite the story to the fact that you never see the Silver Surfer until the team goes to break him out of the military prison. They include some stuff from the comics, which is cool, but the comic characters they include change the face of the story. The Wii version I gave a 5.0, which is meh. It wasn't much better than the PS2, but the Wii controls did amplify the experience. In case you're wondering, they're the exact same PS2 and Wii, so all the pros and cons I just listed for PS2 apply to the Wii. The best thing about the Wii, obviously, is the inclusion of Wii controls, but it also turns out to be a drawback. Basically, instead of pressing X on the PS2, you're now pressing A on the Wii Remote. It's not a bad system, but the problem is that the way they include the motion controls, you'll be tapping A, tapping A, tapping A, and then your character will go to do a special move. For the Thing, it's a ground pound. For Mr. Fantastic, he extends his arm and does a huge clap. And what they want you to do is mimic that big move, either the ground pound or the slap, with the Wii and the nunchuck. So you'd be slamming your hands down for the Thing, slamming them together for Mr. Fantastic. It sounds cool, but the move consumes your cosmic energy, which means when you're out of cosmic energy, these characters still do that move, even though there's nothing you can do for it. So it actually opens you up for attacks, which is a huge deal when you're swarmed by robots and rock creatures. Looking past achievements, the PlayStation 3 and 360 versions are identical in terms of frame rate, graphics, and everything else, so the fanboys can sit back and relax for this one. For both versions, I gave a 5.4, which is mediocre, and they earned this higher ranking than the other versions just because they were prettier and not as annoying to play. Of course, the cons to the PlayStation 3 and 360 versions were the fact that it is so boring, but above all else is the use of cosmic powers in this one. It's the same thing, blue bar, it controls what you can use as far as turning invisible or throwing flaming balls or stretching out your arms or all that jazz. But one of the big drawbacks is how cool the Human Torch is. If I want to just fly, I have to use my cosmic bar. Like the things that should come just natural to Johnny Storm, I have to use my cosmic powers to do. To fly around, to do anything, to stretch out as Mr. Fantastic, it's pretty annoying and takes you out of the experience of feeling anything like you're part of the Fantastic Four. On top of that, the boss battles are as lame as ever. Just run up to stuff, punch it to death. The game supports up to 4 players co-op, but it's not online, and plus it's boring. So yeah, don't buy these games. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer are not great games. They're not terrible games. I mean, they're not broken. It's not like you're going to be playing and get stuck in walls or have it crash or anything like that. But you're definitely not going to have any fun either. And that's what we're all after.
What almost hit us?
A blast of pure power cosmic.